What is up, everybody? Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Why was that so formal? Whatever time it is of the day that you're listening to this, welcome back to Fun on Weekdays podcast. I am currently laying on the floor in my closet with the door shut, trying to get away from Quincy because he keeps biting my legs and he's really pissing me off today. Staring at the ceiling, about to go blind from my ceiling lights. What are you guys doing? But I thought really quickly, let's just do like a little pulse check. I don't know if you guys are on the same wavelength. You know how there's like cycle sisters? I currently am PMS-ing. I'm about to get my period. I am so cranky. And Connor keeps saying to me, he's like, your tone. It's like your tone. I know you're not mad at me, but your tone is just off-putting. It sounds like you're mad at me. And I'm like, no, it's not. It has nothing to do with you. I just am so cranky. I get so aggravated. I have no patience when I'm about to get my period. I had this pimple on my chin that I tried to pop this morning, but I think I just probably gave myself a scar. So having all those things in the back of my mind, just know that if my tone of this it comes across as I'm complaining, just know I am not complaining. I'm just a little stressed right now. So I had a plan for this episode to talk about toxic friendships and like how to end them, essentially. So 2 episodes ago, I talked about making friends, hanging out with them, how often you should text them, and how to make sure that you're setting boundaries with your friends, especially if it's a new friend. And then a lot of people started sharing their stories with me about toxic friendships. So that was my plan today. But you know what? Life happens, okay? This past week, I feel like I've just really been adapting to whatever is thrown my way. And for as long as you do that, for as long as you just continue to kind of go with the flow, it catches up so freaking fast. And I have to say, as I'm sitting here recording this episode, I was dreading it because I'm like, I just have so much to do that I've been putting off because things haven't gone as planned. And I just have to say, if you feel similar to me right now, just know that like one day you're going to sit down, you're going to get all your shit done, you're going to feel so good, and it's going to set you up for the next day because you're going to be on a high. And that's how I felt 2 days ago. I used a planner for the first time. Literally, I'm not kidding, the first time ever in my life. I sat down because I was just feeling so overwhelmed by life, and I used this hourly planner. And I wrote out every single thing I was going to do for the day by the hour, and I stuck very, very close to it. And honestly, at the end of the day, I was like, wow, this was like the most productive day I've ever had. And so I'm still kind of riding that high while still juggling this PMS shit. Anyways, so the reason why I am laying on the floor, I guess I should tell you what I am going to be talking about instead. So so instead of talking about toxic friendships, this week is just going to be a short episode, kind of giving you some life updates, some things that have been going on in my life. And I don't have a computer with me, so I actually don't have all of your stories that I shared that I was intending to share this week. Basically what happened was a few weeks ago, or about a month ago, Quincy bit my laptop and my laptop screen broke, and so it just like won't turn on, or it'll turn on but the screen is black. So I'm like, okay, you know what, for the time being it's totally fine. This might be illegal. The fact that I'm saying this and this is going to live online might bite me in the butt. But when I worked at TikTok, they gave us a company computer, and I actually saved that computer. I never sent it back just because I was like, all right, if they charge me for the computer, totally fine. It's honestly just nice to have it. So I had that sitting in my closet, and I've been using that for the past month while the other computer's broken. Well, I was at Nancy's house last week, my event planner. We're trying to get everything set up for our event on Tuesday and Wednesday, which I'll talk about. I'll do like a little recap. And I'm sitting there about to record with her, and my screen just goes black. Plug it in, will not turn on. I'm like, of course this is my freaking luck. Of course, like, my second computer is going to die right before I'm about to record, right before this episode goes live tomorrow. So, I am currently recording on my phone. Both of my computers are at Apple right now. I'm really frustrated because I didn't get warranty. You guys, this is a mistake, okay? There are a lot of times where you're sold warranty and you think it's kind of a scam. It's like, oh, they're just trying to upsell me. computers and your phone, I think, are one thing that you should get a warranty on. And I've learned that now in hindsight, just having two computers break. So, yeah, that's my life lesson of this episode. Get warranties on your computers and your phones. But just because we're sitting in this closet, I wanted to be a little bit more intimate with you, do a little recap of my life. So let's just start with early last week. Let's see. Okay, let's start with the Macy's event because I talked about this for so long. I was really excited. And I have to say, people that come to these events to meet me, I totally understand how they are nervous. I want you to remember that I am equally, as if probably more nervous than you are because I'm like, what if no one shows up? Like, what if literally no one comes here? Or what if it's just two people? And what if those two people think that it's super awkward and they're uncomfortable? And then what if they don't have a good experience? So I was so excited when there was a really, really great turnout last week. Basically the Macy's event, they set up like this step and repeat banner for a little backdrop photo moment. And then they had a DJ with inside of Macy's. It was pretty much just like a little meetup. We took photos together. And it was really, really nice. So one thing that I like about doing meetups when they're smaller is that maybe for other people it's a little uncomfortable because like there's not as many people to talk to. It's not as easy to kind of stand off to the side and just like maybe do your own thing. For me, I actually get to meet people, and I remembered almost all of the girls' names, which I never do, you guys. Even in like sorority recruitment in college, I cannot remember names for the life of me. After meeting up with these girls at Macy's, we were there for an hour, and then afterwards we went over to Punch Bowl Social, and we got this big table together. We sat, some girls got cocktails, some girls got food. I personally got shrimp tacos with flour tortillas. The flour tortillas fucked me up. I have felt so bloated for the past week. I've been kind of eating gluten unintentionally. Like, I've known that I've been eating gluten, and if you don't know this, I've been gluten and dairy free since like October of last year. I really just tried to do it because I heard that it helped with bloating for gluten, and then the dairy, my skin has been really broken out. Anyways, it doesn't matter. So we went to this dinner. You guys, I get so fucking sidetracked so easily. I need to keep focus. It's really hard when I don't have a computer in front of me with all the points that I wanted to hit on. So I'm literally just rambling today. Okay, so the Macy's thing. Then we went to Punch Bowl. We're sitting there all chatting, getting to know each other. And it was honestly so great because a lot of those girls ended up coming to my event the following day. And they kind of got to meet people beforehand so that they could meet up and come together. So the next day was my event that I threw. The theme was Golden Hour Soiree. My thinking honestly was just that it was going to be during the sunset time. It was on a rooftop downtown, and people were going to be like drinking. There was live music, some small appetizers. I personally did not see a single appetizer. I think I was just so caught up talking that I didn't eat at all. So after 2 nights of basically meeting people, I think people forget that for me, meeting people is kind of a job because like I have to be fully 100% on the entire time, and I'm just trying to make sure, everything's going smoothly, setting things up with the vendors. And so last week was just really, really tiring for me. And I see a lot of people that are constantly like, oh, you should come to Denver or Washington, D.C. or these random places. And as much as I would love to do that, I feel like I have to prioritize my social battery, because if I'm constantly giving my time to other people versus like giving myself enough time, I just wear myself so thin. And I think last week was a really true testament of like how much I can physically handle just as one person. And so I guess my ask is just that y'all are understanding of that as I try to do more events in the future and just like what I'm physically capable of. So the event that I did on Wednesday night, it was beautiful. I'm really excited to get the photos back from that. But essentially there were 200 girls. It was at Wax Myrtles, which thank you to them. They hosted us. We had drinks, food, like I said, live music. And Nancy did such a beautiful job of planning it. Personally, in comparison to my last party that I did, which was Halloween, there were only 100 people more. It was a much larger budget. It was sponsored by a ton of brands, and there was just like a lot more, I guess, a lot more expectations, if that makes sense, versus what I did this past week was just sponsored by myself. I paid for everything, but I was very, very lucky to work with a lot of vendors that did things for trade. So just for like social promotions, for me to tag them and, send them all of the photos and videos and stuff. I was very fortunate to work with a lot of people. But like I said, I fully funded everything for this event. So I think for me, it was just a lot more casual. And because there was no programming of it, it was just kind of like come and go as you please, kind of hang out, do whatever you want. I was able to actually like talk with people just a lot better, I would say. And I was able to kind of split my time between people. When I am doing events, it's so hard to like, make sure that you're talking to everyone. But I would love y'all's feedback for anybody that was able to come to the event. Any of your feedback of what you enjoyed, what you maybe didn't enjoy, so that I can use that for, planning future events. I also did this on a Wednesday night, which I think is very true to my brand. I think when I'm doing these events, I love to do them on weekdays, but I do hear people that you want to do them on the weekends so that you can come. I think the event on Wednesday was just so great because a lot of people came right after work. It was at 6 to 9 p.m. And then a lot of people made new friends. And then they were like, all right, where's the post game? They were like different groups of girls. They're like, all right, we're going to go to this bar. We're going to go to this restaurant. We're going to go do this now. Jenna, do you want to come? And as much as I would love to come, you guys, I just spent like 3 hours tonight just constantly talking to people and making sure everything's good. So I think I did a pretty good job of saying no, which I think a lot of people are not necessarily comfortable with doing, myself included. And so each time I do these, yes, these events are for you, but these events also help me grow too and help me understand my boundaries. So that was kind of the life lesson that I wanted to take out of doing these events was, even though it's really fun, it is a lot of work. And I think it kind of tests what I'm able to do so that I don't push myself over the edge for the next ones. Okay, going on to the next topic. What else did I do? So last week I got a car. Oh my gosh. I got a Volvo XC60. It is a 2022. Honestly, the only reason why I got the 2022 was because it had a crystal little like gear shifter knob that I loved, but it was the exact same price as the 2021. Guys, the car market right now is literally insane. I don't understand it. But I know that it's a good time to sell your car. And my little Mazda CX-7, she is huffing puffing. She's a 2010, and it's a really nice car, to be honest with you. I've never had an issue with the car. Just lately, over the past like 6 months, I would say, the car has gotten really tired. Like the engine is super loud. The wheel is just not the easiest to turn. Okay, whatever. It really doesn't matter. I'm not going to complain about the car that I don't drive anymore. But all that to say, I've been thinking about getting a new car for so long. I've wanted one since I graduated college, but honestly, I mean, I believe what my dad says, which is if it gets you from point A to point B, then it's fine. It's just a car, But I have to argue, if you don't know if you're necessarily going to get to point B, maybe it's time that you think about getting a car. So I honestly didn't want to get a car until I knew that I was in a good financial position to be able to do so. And honestly, I mean, a lot of us, you graduate college, you have student loans, which personally I have not paid mine yet. I'm waiting to kind of see what happens with the student loans. That's a whole nother story. We could talk about finances. But I just got the office. I hired Nancy. So I'm paying another person right now, and I still have my apartment. I just have like a lot of expenses. And I think regardless of how much money people make, you should still just be conscious of like, okay, you might have that right now, but what are you going to have in the future? If you just live this lifestyle, like you can spend anything that you want, then what happens in the future if you don't have that same means of income? So I will say that I do a very good job of saving my money. And I think that I would love to do just a financial episode about this if you guys are curious, with somebody who has better advice than myself. My only advice is spend money based on what you currently have, not based on what you will have in the future, which is like, don't think about how much money you're going to get from a paycheck next month. I try to think about, what do I have that I can financially purchase right now in this moment, and if I don't have the money right now, maybe I should just wait. And so that's exactly what I did with the car. The car situation too is a whole nother thing. So I've looked at different cars before. I was looking at Porsches. I recently learned that it's called Porsche, not Porsche. Anyways, I was looking at those, and honestly, after talking to my parents, I'm like, why the fuck why would I even want that? Why would I want that? And I do feel like, in a sense, it is kind of like a status symbol. Like, it's a way to show people that you worked hard, I guess, because those cars are expensive. And I think a part of me really liked that idea, because I don't buy myself anything expensive, truly, ever. The only thing I've bought are things that like an office or my apartment. I've worked really hard to be able to afford a place like this, but the only reason why I'm able to do that is because I started working when I was 15, and I've been saving money, and I have like a pretty good head on my shoulders when it comes to what I should spend. I don't buy like designer bags or clothes really. So when it came to a car, I was like, all right, I'm going to be in this car every single day. I want it to be a nice luxury car, something that I've worked for. And I don't know, I just kind of realized that it didn't really make sense. Like, the car that I was looking at wasn't necessarily the best in performance or safety, and it wasn't the most realistic. And also, why in the world was I about to spend $90,000 on a car when I thought about it and I'm like, no, that is not like, that's not a good financial decision, Jenna. You should save that money. Like, I say I have all these projects that I want in the future. I want to start a brand. I want to do these events. I want to be able to travel and meet more people. Okay, well, that is like a really significant amount of money that I can put towards something that is more impactful than just a vehicle that I drive. So that is basically how I landed on the Volvo. It had kind of the interior that I wanted. I wanted something that was a little bit nicer. I do film a lot of videos in my car, and I live in Texas, so it's freaking hot. And I didn't want a black interior. That was like key for me. And then the outside of SUVs, I feel like it's either too sporty or it's too mom SUV. And I feel like the Volvo, people could argue that it is like a grandparent's car. Somebody made a TikTok about that this week, and I think just my For You page made it reach me because of it. But I personally love my car. So here's the situation, now that I've given you all of the background on it. So I'm sitting down, I go to pick up my car on the day of, and I made a TikTok about this. Anybody who works in contract work, it is so freaking hard to apply for pretty much any type of lease or any type of loan. So basically what happened was when I went to put down my income for them to basically approve me to finance the car, because a lease is technically a loan from the bank because you're not paying for the car up front. I didn't really realize that, to be honest. And just to even talk about car leases, shit, I think I should just do an entire episode about cars. Okay, no, I won't. I feel like people don't care about it enough. So I decided to lease my car because I know that in 3 years I'm going to want a new one. And I also just didn't want to pay $50,000 up front just to have a car like instantly. I don't know. I just personally thought that the lease and doing monthly payments was more financially sustainable. And so I was trying to make, a good, smart, educated decision by doing that, which I did. And then once I gave them my paperwork with everything, they came back, and essentially the bank was having issues verifying my income because I have an LLC, which is fun on weekdays, but I have only been in business since like last September when it was filed. So I don't have 2 full years of business income statements. So it's been really, really difficult, but nonetheless, they let me drive off the lot. And here's where I have a bone to pick. If you had an issue with my finances, don't let me drive off the lot and then call me every single day after I leave and text me nonstop. And I've given them like every single documentation that I can, but they just won't verify my income because it's contracted and it's not a W-2. It's like a 1099. Guys, there's a lot of like logistics with it, but moral of the story is that I got this new car, was super excited about it. But In order to keep this car, they essentially told me that I need to pay up front for the lease, which is like $30,000 for a 36-month lease. That just does not add up. In my mind, that is not smart. That completely defeats the purpose of a lease. And also, I don't know, I feel like it's just the principle of it. However, I did make a TikTok about it, and there were a lot of people, and they're like, Jenna, it's not Volvo, it's the bank itself. Well, you know what? Here's my PSA to banks out there. It is 2022. There are so many people who have their own businesses that they do contract work, and this is how they make a sustainable income. And even though it's not working for another person, I think the bank's got to get with it, you know? They're living like this such old school traditional lifestyle, meaning that like having a corporate job is the only way to live, which it's just not. I feel like a lot of people our age in this new generation, like millennials and Gen Z, are just finding other means of income, and the bank's got to get with it. Otherwise, well, I don't know what I'll do otherwise. Maybe I'll get like a scooter or something. Okay, that's my car situation. Okay, you guys, my podcast, Fun on Weekdays, is sponsored by Macy's, as you all know. And by the time that this episode comes out, I will have been at the Macy's event at the Domain. I will have met so many of you guys. And I'm really looking forward to later in the summer so I can continue doing events like this to get to know you guys and to, you know, just get people to meet each other and do fun activities, get you out of your comfort zone, and of course, have fun on weekdays. So Macy's has literally everything as we're gearing up for these summer events, whether it's bathing suits, summer dresses, you're going to a wedding, maybe some workout gear, you want to get into fitness this summer, whatever it may be, Macy's has you. I'm going to add some of my favorite summer looks onto my landing page so that you can gear up. It's starting to get a little warmer here in Texas. It's like 90 to 95 almost every day. So I personally need to find a pair of jean shorts that I can wear all summer long. I'm going to add some stuff. It'll all be on Macys.com/FOW. I told you I was going to tell you about why there's no video this week. So there's no video because when my computer died last week, I couldn't upload the files of the camera onto it. So I had to take my memory card and my camera converter to the Macy's event because my managers were there and Santino, who edits my podcast, was there. And so I gave the files to them, and then they accidentally took it to Dallas. And so they shipped it back to me, but I haven't gotten it yet. And so I've just been checking my mail. So I hope y'all don't mind that there's no video this week. And I hope y'all also don't mind that this episode is just kind of all over the place because, like I said, no computer means no outline, which means unfiltered thoughts in my closet. What could be better? All right, what else could I talk about? I told y'all I'm PMS-ing, about to get my period any minute here. Told y'all about the event recaps. Told y'all about my car situation. Let's see. Oh, okay. So the next event, you may be wondering, all right, cool, things have passed. What are you working on now? Let me tell you about it. So in Dallas, May 13th, it's a Friday night at 7 p.m. So no excuses, you guys. You'll be off of work if you live in Dallas. Technically, I think it's in Arlington, but I am doing a Texas Rangers game. And essentially what they did was, and you guys, this is another example of I have no idea what the turnout is going to be. When these ideas of doing events are pitched to me, it's like, yeah, sure, I could sell tickets for this suite, but I'm not going to guarantee you that 225 people are going to buy them. It might just be like 10 to 15 to maybe 20 people. I was shocked, to say the least. So basically what happened was we sold out 225 tickets for this private suite area. It's technically called the Skybox, I think, at the Texas Rangers game. So we're going to have like an entire area that'll be decked out with Fun on Weekdays decorations. Come on. You guys know me. Of course, I'm going to make it cute. It'll be fun. There'll be ways for you to like meet other girls. There's a ton of people that are coming alone or coming with their boyfriend or their spouse or their partner. And so if you want to come, we were able to add another 200 tickets. And so this is going to be the section that is directly above. You'll still be able to go to the section that has like the food and the drinks and everything and all the photos. But just during the game, your seat itself will be directly above that area. So we added 200 tickets. I want to say there's about 100 left. It's honestly just a really good way to meet girls. I think especially from last week's events, it just kind of proves like this works. You know, you come to these events, you have one thing in common with these girls. And I think what I could do too is just create a group me so that anybody who is coming alone, maybe y'all can meet up beforehand. You could do a little pregame if you want, get a little crazy. It is a Friday, you know? And then maybe y'all could Uber or drive together. And then that way you're not coming solely alone. And then for anyone who is coming solely alone, have no fear. I will be there ready to meet you with open arms and have a great time and, you know, play ball. If anybody from the Texas Rangers is listening to this episode, I would kindly like to request throwing the first pitch if that is of possibilities. I think that would be so cool. And my next thing I was going to talk about, which kind of flows seamlessly into this, was I was going to do merch for this event. I know a lot of people were not able to order merch because it sold out from the last drop. And so for this event, I was like, oh, it's a baseball game. You know, let's get some baseball t-shirts, maybe some baseball hats. I was just been so busy these past couple weeks. I didn't have time to like design it and then source it and then order it and ship it and do all that stuff. So it's not going to happen for this. But I am excited to let you all know that I am currently working on the second drop for merch. It's going to be a new design. I'm testing products right now, and I feel like what I can do is just basically share with y'all what I do on the back end, because you don't get to see it. There's a lot of things that I work on that you can't necessarily see because I'm not allowed to share a lot of it. But this is one thing that I'm allowed to share is the merch because it's mine. So I'm working on finding products that are good quality because I'm looking for an ivory, and I don't want it to be like see-through, and I don't want it to be yellow. So anyways, I'm getting some tank tops, some t-shirts, and some crew necks sent to me. And I'm hoping that for this next drop, there will be some different product options so that you can still get the same design, but just if you want a sweatshirt versus a tank top, perfect. And I'm also trying to find, I heard some feedback that y'all are looking for extended sizing as well. So I've really been doing my best to just find products that have a wide range of sizing and stock available. So I get a lot of DMs about the merch. I just wanted to let y'all know that's what I'm doing currently. And I'm hoping once I get the product samples, I'll be able to take photos. And I'll talk to y'all all about merch when it comes. That's another thing we can cross when we get to it. And yeah, I'll let y'all know. Hopefully maybe in like the next month is my ideal situation. Like end of May would be great. So that's merch. All right, moving on. Holy shit, guys. I feel like I just lived like 10 years in 2 weeks. I feel like a lot has been going on. And because my episodes have not been focused about like my life at all, I haven't shared any of this. So right now I'm just totally oversharing. Hope y'all don't mind. Okay, next thing is my office. So, same thing with the car that happened with my office, you guys. I essentially was like, I would love to have an office. For me, it is so freaking hard. Anybody who works from home, I feel you so much that the separation between work and life is just sometimes there is no separation. And when there is no separation, I feel like it's really easy to get lost, to just lose your sense of self. And that is exactly what happened to me when I was working at TikTok. And it's ironic, right? Because at the time that I was working at TikTok is when I started the Fun on Weekdays thing. And the way that I was able to separate my work from life was by closing my computer, even though I was in my apartment, and then getting out of my apartment and going and doing something fun on a weekday night or a morning and waking up early and doing something. For me now, I feel like my job kind of revolves around my computer and my phone, and also like packages and stuff that's sent to me or traveling and stuff. And no complaints at all. I don't want to seem like I'm entitled or unappreciative or anything. But just like any other job, spending so much time at home and not being able to go into an office or a designated workplace, it's just like really, really taxing. So I first started looking at offices last year in, I want to say it was like September. And a lot of people were like, you're going to get an office already? Like, how can you afford that? And in my mind, I was like, I'll make it work, you know? But going back to what I said was I was using my future finances as a way to sustain my current lifestyle. And I don't think that was smart of me. So essentially what I did was I just decided to put a hold on the office search. And around that time, I ended up moving to LA for 2 months with Connor and Mike, just in an Airbnb short term. And so there really was no need for me to get an office. this past year when I came back, I did the merch in March, and I did it all out of Connor and Mike's office, which is this really small room. I want to say it's like 350 square feet, maybe. And I just basically took over their space. And I think while doing that, and also just recording episodes, constantly having to set up like a tripod on a bed or in a noisy area and there's construction, or, trying to figure out lighting. There's just a lot of things that make my job harder than it needs to be than if I just had a designated place to go work. So I finally decided, all right, I'm ready to pull the trigger and find a shop to set up, fun on weekdays, make it official. Let's get a key. Let's get an office. Let's get a separation between work and life, help my mental health a little bit. And so I worked with Nick Owens. I'm going to give him a shout out because he was literally the best. Honestly, I think working with people that are like just young and like understand what I was looking for, it just felt like we were friends. And it seemed like he was equally as excited about finding me a place as I was versus just trying to sell me on a place. Y'all, I'm really gassing him up right here. And I actually think that I found him because somebody on my TikTok comments recommended him. I think they were friends or family or something. I'm not sure. But I had been working with him last year, and then this year when we picked it back up, he was great. He didn't seem annoyed by me at all. We toured, I would say, 5 different places. And right when I had decided that I think I found the place, it was actually on the east side of Austin, and it was going to be $5,000 a month for this office space that I was going to get. And I was about ready to sign the lease, and I was like, you know what? Just something does not feel right about it. I'm not sure. Like, maybe we could just spend one more week looking, just make sure nothing else pops up on the market. And sure enough, he sends me this, PDF kind of walkthrough of this property that we had looked at last year that was currently in construction last year. And he's like, hey, long shot here, but I wanted to let you know that this property is actually, done now. If you were interested in it, we could revisit it. And honestly, at that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, like this is it. I feel like it all makes sense why I waited, why I put things off. I had this gut feeling and I just needed to listen to my instinct, and I ended up being right. So we went back to the office, checked it out. Everything was great. I walked in, and truthfully, for the first time in an office, I envisioned exactly where everything would go. I envisioned the exact vibe that I want in there, which y'all know with my apartment is an issue. And I was just so excited. And so the office that I got is about 850 square feet, I want to say. It has like a little kitchenette in it. It has an area that I'm going to section off for a recording studio. So if you listen to the last episode, I said hopefully this is the last time that I'm not recording in the studio. But clearly I was wrong because I'm recording in my closet right now. So hopefully in the next few weeks I'm able to kind of move things in. Just yesterday I moved in some storage containers into this like little built-in shelf. And as I'm walking through the area, I see this dark blob scurry across the floor. Literally scurry. I see these little tentacle legs. You know what it was? A freaking roach. I was about ready to call up Nick and be like, Nick, what the hell did I get into? If there's one roach, there's more roaches. So, all this to let you know, disclaimer, if you do ever come to my office, if it ever is available, just beware. There might be some cockroaches. There might be some spiders. But at least I'm going to make it cute. It's going to be my space. And I'm going to start kind of decorating things this week. So just moving things over and, getting settled. It's been a lot. I'm just one person, right? I feel like so often we just constantly think all day about, oh my God, I have to do this, 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 and this today. And I have to do this, 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 and this tomorrow. And I think what I personally do is I fixate on all the things that I need to do tomorrow, that I get so worried about the time that the day just passes and like I didn't even get anything done that I needed to today. So then it all gets pushed to the following day. And I think for anyone out there who is just feeling a little overwhelmed, or maybe you're trying to make a big decision in your life right now, like buying a car, getting an office, or taking a step to, work full time for yourself, or get out of a relationship, whatever it may be, if you have this hunch feeling like, I don't know, something is off. I've had that feeling quite frequently, and I think this past month, all of those previous feelings that I've had have all made sense why that they were supposed to happen this month, if that makes sense. I don't know. I was trying to get deep there, but I feel like I may have missed the mark in the translation. I hope y'all understand what I was trying to say. Let's see. What else do we have? You guys, I think that's pretty much it. I have quite a few things that I need to do today, and hopefully you guys, next week I'll have a couch at least in the studio, and next week I promise you for a fact is going to be about toxic friendships, how how do you navigate that, how do you cut somebody out, and also I feel like friendship breakups, that's tough. That is not a way that you have fun on weekdays when you're dealing with drama and bullshit from your friends or people that are just like dragging you down. We don't need that energy right now. We do not need that. Okay. Oh, I wanted to quickly recap some fun things that I did. And this is a great idea. Anybody in Austin, Connor and I went to this candlelit orchestra. They did a cover of a bunch of Taylor Swift songs. We had a little date night on Friday night. We went to that, and we went to dinner, and then we came home. And honestly, I went to bed early, and I had a great, fantastic time. Saturday, we woke up, we went paddleboarding for the day. I've been on my workout grind lately, so I've been waking up early and doing cycling classes. For a while, I feel like I fell off my track. And honestly, last week, just meeting so many of y'all and being in person and just being able to like feel your energy. I know I said at the beginning that it was, exhausting for me, but that energy translated into my energy for this week, and now I just feel so much more pumped up on life. So if I can be the person to pump y'all up on life, that is the goal. Hopefully next Tuesday I can do that for you. Maybe you enjoyed this recap, maybe you didn't. I don't know. If you didn't, please give another one of my episodes a listen. This is kind of a one-off thing where I just ramble. Anyways, I'm just rambling. Okay. Bye, you guys. I'll talk to you next Tuesday. Maybe in the office, maybe in my closet.